In this video I'd like to ask and answer one simple question. What's in a word? By the end of this video I hope to make you a little bit clear about the idea that there are levels, hidden meanings behind words. We're going to go back to our original example of this dog. Now, he's clearly tired. You could argue that he's asleep. I'm going with the fact that his left eye is a tiny little bit open, so he's not quite asleep, just very tired. Tired is very factual. It gives us detail. The other four words that we looked at, sleepy, drowsy, exhausted and jaded, gave us a little bit more information, and that's the layers that I'm talking about in that question for today's video. Let's put the words into a sentence. I'm only going to look at the first two words to begin with. The dog was sleepy, the dog was drowsy. We'll leave exhausted and jaded for later. Now, this sentence would sit fine in a short story that you are writing for a folio. It could exist in a novel that you're reading or a close reading. Anything like that. So we're going to look at those two words in detail, sleepy and drowsy. There's slight differences between them and important differences, and that's what the word choice question is asking or testing to see if you can see the difference, if you can explain the difference. Now, I'm going to mention two words to you, denotation and connotation. Now, I can already hear you groaning. When I mention these two words to my own classes, I start to see people drift off, want to look out the window, wishing to be anywhere else in the world than in an English classroom talking about denotation and connotation and close reading. However, bear with me. I'll do this very quickly, and in the next video I'm going to show you a different approach that I think will be a little bit more interesting. But it's important that we look at the fundamentals. So, going back to denotation and connotation, quite often students confuse these words. It's understandable because outside of the English classroom, outside of your close reading, you probably never need to use those words. So you're not using them often enough for them to stay in the part of your memory that makes them easily accessible. But let me give you some helpful reminders. Let's look at denotation first. It starts with that DE. So does the word definition. So the denotation word is just the dictionary definition, the simple meaning of the word, right? Denotation, definition, right? Look at the DE. Okay, and here's an example. Okay, this is an image that'll hopefully help you remember it. So definition, denotation, the simple meaning. Connotation is a little trickier. It starts with CON, and to help me remember it, I use the word conceal. Okay. So it's what's concealed behind the word. Now, what does the word conceal mean? If we look here at this picture of the tip top of a bridge sticking out through some clouds, most of the bridge is concealed behind the clouds. Except for the top bit, the rest of the bridge is concealed. It's hidden. It's not visible, or not clearly visible anyway. And that's what we're meaning by the word conceal. So if I go back up here, the connotation of the word is what's hidden behind the word, what's not quite visible, what you have to work at to discover. So, moving back to our dog, he was sleepy, he was drowsy. So let's look at the denotation and connotation of both of those words. So, starting with the word sleepy. If you were to look it up in a dictionary, you get a nice simple definition that it means tired and wanting to sleep. So we've got a little bit more detail there than just tired. We've got extra information added. The connotation, what's concealed behind the word, what's hidden behind the word, is it suggests the end of a long day, perhaps. The dog's been busier than usual, lacking in energy. So sleepy, tired, both convey similar things, but sleepy gives an extra information. This idea that there's been something about this day that's been particularly busy. Extra information. Let's check on drowsy. Dictionary definition is slightly different. It means wanting to sleep, especially when it is not the usual time to sleep. Now that's very important. That's very different to just being tired. Tired and drowsy are more different than tired and sleepy. So what does that suggest? Have a think to yourself. What does that suggest about the dog? If sleepy suggested that he'd had a long day, been busy, what does drowsy suggest to you? Have a think about it before I reveal it. Okay, let's have a look. I think that if the dog is drowsy, it suggests possibly medication after being at the vet. Was he at the vet for maybe a small operation? He's still drowsy afterward. Is the dog unwell? it suggests that this particular feeling of sleepiness is not normal, that this drowsiness it's unusual, it's a little bit strange. So, tired is a factual word, doesn't give us a whole lot of information. Sleepy, we learned a little bit more, that maybe it was to do with an expenditure of energy, more energy than usual. And drowsy added even more layers. Concealed behind that word drowsy are these suggestions of perhaps a trip to the vets, or he's unusually tired today in a way that he hasn't been in the past. So, we've looked at the word denotation and connotation. Don't stress about these words too much. You can use them when you answer in the assessment, in the National 5 assessment, or you don't have to use them at all. You can get full marks without using them. But in the next video, I'll be showing you another way. So, quick recap. Denotation is the simple dictionary definition. DE for definition, DE for denotation. Connotation is what's hidden behind the word, what's suggested by the word. Or as I've written here, other words or ideas that are linked to or are suggested by the original word. And it's that word suggested that I'm going to be using a lot in the next few videos. What do words suggest about the things that they're describing? Okay, in the next video I'm going to show you a slightly different approach, but it was important that we looked at denotation and connotation briefly.